what intrigues you the most about this particular draft?
I mean, it's got to be the quarterbacks after Burrow. Like, there's 3, I call them pain points in the draft where stuff could go haywire. Like, there could be crazy trades. And the first one of those is at that sort of 3, 4, 5, 6 point, right? Where you've got the Lions and the Giants who clearly want, or I don't know about the Lions, definitely the Giants. They're interested in potentially trading down, depending on what packages there are. And then you've got the 2 teams that would ostensibly be picking quarterbacks in the Dolphins and the Chargers. Right, like a month ago, it seemed like a foregone conclusion that we would have teams trading up for Tua, and then maybe Herbert would go 6, maybe a little bit there. But now there's so much smoke around Justin Herbert rising, which I would normally call smoke, especially based on having watched a lot of these 2 quarterbacks over the past few weeks and during the regular season. But we've just been through 3 drafts where this has happened with Baker, who rose at the last second, Josh Allen, Daniel Jones, who a month before the draft, nobody thought would go where he was. So I am apprehensive of betting against a last-second Justin Herbert rise.
We were just talking, Mina, Eaves seems to think that, Cincinnati is of course picking with their heart more than they're picking with their mind with Joe Burrow. And I would say that I would agree with him that you're supposed to go talent first, best overall talent first in most situations, except that we're talking about the Bengals. And for a really long time, they wanted to be relevant, and then they were relevant for like a couple days. And then Carson Palmer wasn't relevant, and then they were relevant again for a couple of days, and now they're not again. And this feels like, whether Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the draft or not, this feels like the right move for the franchise and for the city itself. How do you kind of rate what they're going to do eventually when they pick him number 1 overall?
So here's the thing. The Cincinnati Bengals have an obligation from a public health perspective to take Joe Burrow, because if they don't, people will be taking to the streets and rioting. They will not be social distancing. They will be so angry at this team, and rightfully so, man. I mean, I think he's not a sure thing. No quarterback is. No, I mean, even Andrew Luck, right? Coming out of college. But he just put up the best season by a college quarterback in the history of the sport. And I know it was just 1 season. I know it was weird because he got so much better. But when I went back and rewatched LSU, and obviously I watched a ton of them during regular season too, I just saw a near flawless prospect. I think he is a can't-miss guy for them. I think he could struggle coming in because it is Cincinnati and they're not a great roster. But if they just can't not do that.
If it wasn't Cincinnati, would you choose him number 1?
If I was a team that needed a quarterback, yeah, I absolutely.
If you were the Dolphins and you were choosing number 1, you would take Burrow over Tua.
100%. Yeah,
okay.
All right. The Dolphins mucked this all up by winning a few at the end there. Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. All right, so let me ask you this, because one of the things that took over social media over the weekend, of course, was the versus battle between Teddy Riley and Babyface. And granted, 2 of the giant producers of R&B music, especially for my generation. I mean, it was hard for me to go to a high school or college dance without 2 or 3 of their songs come on at any given time. But there were some issues about it that made it great. But it also had us.
Can y'all hear me?
Stop, Teddy Riley. Teddy Riley, get out of the picture. So let me ask you this. I mean, as you look at this draft class, who is the Teddy Riley of this draft? He has all the skills and experience that you would ever want to see on a resume of someone coming in, but he may be a little slow to transition to the modern intricacies of the NFL. Who is today's Teddy Riley?
Well, I would say Burrow because he's going to a bad team and he's kind of old. He's like 24. But I think more in line with your question, like the accomplished prospect who isn't maybe going to come in and take the league by storm. My mind went to Jalen Hurts, who was kind of an old soul, actually, based on – I did an interview once for the Daily podcast about him with I think it was with Ivan Mazel, and he said Jalen told him that he related – like he saw a lot of himself in Nick Saban. What team is like, yes, Nick Saban and I, we are like mind melding is but I think with him it's gonna be a lot about where he ends up. He's not gonna go in the first round, but fit is everything, and I think he has tremendous tools, and it's such a cliche. He is a winner, right? He has all the intangibles, and you hear that from every single team that's met with him. But I don't think he's going to come into the league and immediately play quarterback at a high level.
Okay, then conversely, who's the baby face? I suppose that would be a person who, regardless of the situation, remains unbothered, does his thing, his whiskey. There's nothing in here. Going to tell no matter the situation he's in.
So I've got a sort of obscure pick. Anthony Gordon, the quarterback out of Washington State, is my favorite quarterback to watch. He's probably going to go like 4th round, 5th round maybe. He's my favorite quarterback to watch tape of because he is the most unflappable football player I've ever seen. He is so permanently unperturbed by pressure, often to a dangerous extent where he does crazy stuff that makes you laugh while you're watching him. But he has an excessive amount of chill, and I hope he plays the NFL because it would be really funny.
Okay, it's funny that you mentioned chill, okay? Because one of the best songs that Teddy Riley has ever done when he was a member of Guy, but he did all the music, was called Let's Chill. So who is the guy in this draft that's maybe overhyped to a point so much that you think, you know what, let's chill on this guy just a little bit?
I would be befuddled if Herbert goes above Tua. It doesn't square with my read. I think he is the classic case of teams talking themselves into the physical tools. He can run, man. Like that's when you rewatch some of these Oregon games, you're taken aback by his. Let's just say he's the kind of guy who's going to get called sneaky athletic a lot.
That guy. The gym rat on the football field. Oh, that guy.
But, dude, he runs better than Tua and, Jordan Love. But come draft day, you're going to hear all about those mobile quarterbacks. Justin Herbert is the mobile quarterback. But
fast twitch.
Low-key Burrow, too, also, by the way. He can scoot. And everyone's going to pretend to be surprised the first time he takes off for, 15 or whatever. But I just don't see it with the processing and decision-making. He's just worlds behind Tua. And I understand if the health thing drives to a stock down, there's probably stuff we don't know. But I think he's a much better quarterback than Justin Herbert.
Deceptively fast is the expression I like to use.
Yes.
You never see him. He's very Aaron Rodgers-esque. All right. Conversely, then, we have to show Babyface some love. Who has the most whip appeal, meaning nobody does it quite like he does it?
Oh my goodness. It's gotta be I'm gonna make it a tie.
Okay.
Lamb and Jeudy, man, 2 wide receivers who, and this is the second, what I was talking about, the pain points in the draft where a lot could go down. I think those 2 receivers are neck and neck for who's going to be taken first. CeeDee Lamb out of Oklahoma and Jerry Jeudy out of Alabama. And every day I wake up thinking one is better than the other. They are unbelievable talents. CeeDee gets comped to Nuke Hopkins, and I think it's a totally accurate comp. The dude has hands like Velcro. Jerry Jeudy might be the best college route runner I have ever seen. My comp for him is Odell. So every time you watch tape on those guys, you just kind of giggle because it's so ridiculous how good they are.
So good. All right, Mina, last question before we let you go, okay? We were thinking, Elle and I were, about, some of the things that have happened over the course of our lifetime, like who thought we'd have a pandemic and be stuck at home. But so many other things have happened, including some very notable alleged and actual crimes that are still kind of hard to explain even to this day. Like, for example, Don Lewis allegedly being fed to tigers, or Marshawn Lynch not getting the ball at the 1-yard line of the Super Bowl.
Really?
Okay, so my question to you is, Mina, if you had to commit a crime and you needed someone to help you either cover it up or explain it away, who would you want as your partner in crime? Carroll Baskin or Pete Carroll?
Oh, wow. Okay, so I don't have to say what the crime is. I just have to choose one of them.
No, they got to help you talk it away or cover it up.
I'm going to go with Pete Carroll, and here's why. That dude is the smoothest operator I think that maybe exists in the NFL. And when you know this, all you have to do is talk to the mother of any college student he recruited when he was in college. They are all in love with him to this day because he would come into their house and use that Pete Carroll charm, that surfer and I think he would help me get away with anything.
Charm the pants out of all the investigators. I believe. At the same time, Carol Baskin could feed any of your enemies to like 50 big cats that live on her property. So I'm just saying, Mina, if you want to.
I think Carol Baskin could pass a polygraph test. That's all I'm saying. All them cool cats and kittens, they're in the jury. Oh, she's got them.